Now, if you walk into a boutique that carries niche fragrances, there are certain fragrances that are always going to stand out. Of course, you've smelled them on other people. They're incredibly popular. They have been cloned ad nauseum. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the top 10 most popular niche fragrances on the market. I'm going to be ranking them from worst to best, but even the quote-unquote worst ones are amazing. I'm excited to share this list with you in just a second, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I talk to you about these top 10 best niche fragrances ranked from worst to best, and I'm going to be honest with you, even the ones that are on the bottom of this list, I truly love. All 10 of these are amazing. I want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. It would really mean a lot to me. Of course, I also want to mention that a lot of these fragrances can be sampled at scentsplit.com. They are a decanting website. They have small options, large options. You can buy bottles. All of the links are going to be down below, and I've been using them for so many years now. So the first fragrance that I want to talk about is one of my favorites. I actually put on like 3 sprays today by Amouage. It's called Reflection for Men. So if Reflection is in the number 10 spot, you know that this is going to be a good list, because these fragrances on the niche side of things are so popular. They are embedded into the mental rib cage or the framework of people's mass consciousness. And something like Reflection for Men, man, I remember when I started making videos in 2012, 11 years ago, everybody was talking about Reflection. This is spicy, it's neroli, it's jasmine, it's quite citrusy. They refer to this as the niche version of Le Male by Jean Paul Gaultier. It's an amazing fragrance. Of course, by Mancera, I could have talked about red tobacco. I could have talked about any number of fragrances from this brand. I decided to talk about their bestseller, which is Cedrat Boise. And they also have a flanker of this, which I think is called Intense Cedrat Boise. Anyway, this is an amazing, bright, juicy, fruity, chypre type of a fragrance. And of course, this one is also the type of fragrance that you want to wear if you're looking to get compliments. You can't go wrong with Cedrat Boise by Mancera. It is certainly one of the most popular fragrances that you can own. Now, when we're talking about the brand of Initio Parfums, of course, they have many bestsellers. They have Side Effect, which is my favorite. They have Rehab. They have the new one, Oud for Happiness. They have Paragon. They have so many wonderful fragrances. The bestseller is Oud for Greatness. So this fragrance has a lot of spices in here. It has saffron. I actually have a cheat sheet on the back because I have a tester. And it says natural oud wood from India, agarwood oil, lavender, saffron, nutmeg, patchouli, and musks. It does have nagarmotha. It's a little spicy. It has this cotton candy type of a sweetness. In the dried down, it's a little mossy, but the saffron is definitely in there. And I love the spicy personality of Oud for Greatness. If you walk into any major department store that carries niche brands, you're going to see this one, and the sales associate, him or herself, will tell you that it's super popular. Now, here's one that I love by one of my favorite perfumers who has done so many incredible fragrances. The perfumer is Maurice Roussel. He's done Uncut Gem and Musc Ravageur by Frederic Malle. He's done fragrances for Lempicka. This fragrance is by Bond No. 9, and it's called New Haarlem. Once again, when I started making videos back in 2012, everybody was talking about this one. This sort of a maple syrup and lavender type of a fragrance. This one smells divine. I love this one. The only thing is I wait for the colder weather to wear it, and I have to be in the mood for it. When we're talking about Bond No. 9, there's so many that I love to wear. Centerpiece for him, Coney Island, Montauk, Andy Warhol Face Edition is like one of my favorite fragrances of all time with that juicy plum in there, the plum oud combination. Greenwich Village is a newer one. Look, New Haarlem is amazing. It's a classic. It's a staple. There's no denying the popularity of this fragrance, and there's a very good reason why it's in this list. You know, I have a couple thousand niche fragrances in my collection. I would certainly like to include the 10 most popular, and it's no surprise that a Bond No. 9 made it onto this list. Of course, we also have Wow. This is arguably one of the best vanilla fragrances on the market by Nishane. This one is called Ani, composed by perfumer Cecile Zarokian. She's one of the best to ever do it. This fragrance is a ginger, fruity, berry, vanilla type of a fragrance. Perfect gourmand, great for the colder weather. Speaking of fruits, we also have a fragrance by Xerjoff, and this one is called Erba Pura. So this is this sort of a melon, passion fruit type of a fragrance that has a grassy accord in here. It also happens to be one of the most cloned fragrances on the market, and that's how you know if a fragrance is popular, right? If you see tons of clones, tons of inspirations on the market, that says a lot about the popularity of a given perfume, and Erba Pura is certainly one of them. Of course, we also have a fragrance that could have been in the top 3, and all things considered, it probably should have been in the top 3, but how can you top the ones that are in the top 3? You'll see them in just a second. Of course, I'm talking about Layton by Parfums de Marly. Doesn't get much better than Layton. Of course, when we're talking about the Marly brand, we have Carlisle and Herod and Pegasus and Godolphin and Acaster and Haultain and all of these other fragrances. Altair is the newest one, but Layton is the best seller, and that has certainly been confirmed. With a lot of these, I have spoken to the managing directors or the CEOs, and they said, yes, this is our best seller. And I've even spoken to perfumers, and they say, yep, when the brand purchases so-and-so fragrance, they have this many kgs of it, and I know these fragrances sell so well. And it reminds me, I need to do a part 2 because there's no Rouge à Parfum on this list. There are a lot of brands that I neglected to mention. So if you want me to do a part 2, why don't you just take 2 seconds, drop a comment down below and say, hey, please do a part 2. Or maybe somebody leave a comment and everybody else just upvote it or something, if you're interested enough. But Layton is amazing. Apple, vanilla, a touch of spice. It's quite beautiful. Guys, how can you make a top 3 and not mention this composition by Frank Vogel? Santal 33. Wow. I have gone through 8 or 9 bottles of this stuff. This bottle is totally empty, but I can get a refill for 20% off. I actually do have a second bottle of it, so I'm not going to get a refill right away. And I got this on Christmas. Or they put the date of Christmas on here, but I got it before Christmas. They were kind enough to change the date for me. 2017, Santal 33 by Le Labo. Sandalwood, papyrus, it's dry. It's very earthy, very woodsy. It's a beautiful fragrance, and of course everybody in New York wears it, so if you're looking for originality, you know, Santal 33 might not be the way to go, but Santal 33 is one of the most iconic niche fragrances of all time, highly deserving of the number 3 spot. What's in the number 2 spot? I apologize for not having a full-size bottle, but I do have an official sample, as it were, from the brand. I had a chance to meet the perfumer on a number of occasions. He and I have even worked on a fragrance that I creatively directed from Navitus Parfum called Imperial. This perfumer is one of the best to ever do it. Francis Kurkdjian. The fragrance is Baccarat Rouge 540. I remember attending a master class in Paramus, New Jersey, many years ago when the fragrance came out, and he gave a live demonstration of it, spoke about why it's so special. It's an amazing fragrance. Baccarat Rouge 540, everybody smells like it, right? I know there's Trajan by Electimus London, which gets compared to it. There's Ariana Grande's Cloud, which gets compared to it. There is a fragrance by Banana Republic called Amour something or other that gets compared to it. There's so many fragrances on the market. Christian Siriano, Oud Rouge. Everybody wants their version of Baccarat, and this fragrance is one of the best for a reason. All right, guys. What's in the number 1 spot? Most popular niche fragrance. If you don't know this, maybe you just discovered YouTube today, or you just entered the world of fragrance today, and that's okay, by the way. We all start somewhere, but this fragrance is super duper popular for very good reasons. Pause the video, drop your comment down below. What's going to be the number 1 most popular niche fragrance of all time? And of course, you guys already know what it is, right? Creed Aventus. The King. I almost considered putting another Creed on this list. I was going to put Green Irish Tweed, which actually came out 15 years before this one. This came out in 2010, so it's 13 years old now. It's kind of hard to believe. And there's an Absolute Aventus coming out very soon in October. But this fragrance, it has the patchouli, the birch tar, pineapple, the apple, the black currant, a little bit of cedar if I'm remembering correctly, ambergris. It's a beautiful fruity chypre fragrance, very bright, very vivacious. And of course, we've seen so many fragrance brands put out their own version of it. Nishane has a fragrance called Hachava. Of course, you also have Bon Number 9 has put out the scent of peace for him, which gets compared a little bit to it, but also quite different. We have Cedrat Boise by Mancera. You also have My Goodness Orion by Tiziana Terenzi. It seems like everybody wants their version of Creed Aventus, and there's no denying the popularity of this fragrance, and it's also probably the most complimented fragrance on this entire list, right next to Cedrat Boise because of the similarities, of course, and also Layton is going to get you tons of compliments. It all depends how you pull them off, though. Guys, top 10 most popular niche fragrances ranked from worst to best, but even the worst ones are amazing, right? So there's no such thing as worst, but I'm just basically saying from 10 to 1, right? Anyway, did you enjoy this video? I really hope you did. It takes me a long time to produce and film and curate the list. So if you wouldn't mind just showing your support by hitting that subscribe button, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up, it would mean the world to me, and all of that is free. Thanks again for watching. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.